Today, I'm going to show you how I got this glowing wire installed. And this is just electroluminescent wire. It's really great because it does not require a closed circuit. That means you can end it wherever you want. And you can see a little tiny break here where I ended this one. And I wired it into the lights in the footwells down here. So when your headlights come on is when this comes on, and you also have the benefit of being able to change the brightness from these two wheels down here. So let me get some lights on here, and I will be back to show you exactly how this is routed and installed. So here's what you're going to need to get this whole thing done. This is the EL wire itself, right? And this is the plug on one side. The other half of that is this. Plugs right in here, so you get to wire this without the transformer box getting in the way. And then on the other side of this, we've got our red and black, which goes into a cigarette lighter. Now you have two choices. One is you can clip this and get rid of the cigarette lighter if you want to wire it in. Or they make another one of these that you can buy separately, and I'll put the link in the description. That is exactly just the plug into the transformer, and then it just ends here. So if you don't want to clip this for some reason, you can also buy that. But what I tend to do is install the whole thing, plug this in, make sure that it works, that it lights up, that I'm happy with the way that it works, and then I clip this and wire this in directly. So in addition to this thing, right, you're going to need some wire strippers, of course, because whether you get this one that you clip or you buy the other one, we're going to have to get back the sheathing here. So wire strippers, electrical tape, wire nuts. You can use vampire taps, right, the little taps that just clamp around the wire. And when you clip them down, the teeth go into here, they make contact. I don't have great luck with this for a couple of reasons. This is very small gauge wire, number one. And number two, it's just like a really hard place to get your hands up underneath the footwells, which you'll see in a little bit. But wire strippers with a clip so you can, cut the wire to size. And that's about it. The only other thing that you should be wary of is this. If you'll notice here, right, this is the flat part that we're going to be inserting in there. And then this bulb here is the actual part that lights up. And you can see it. The other side, however, you can see is totally flat. So the way you put this wire in matters a little bit, in the sense that you're going to want to have it, if we think about under the radio, for example, this part sticking up. It just seems to fit in better and route better. The only place where it really matters when we go around the console, which I'll show you how to do. This was something like $11 on Amazon. I went ahead and I bought the longest every time that I do this, simply because even though I've measured, you just never know. Maybe you want to take a different route, or perhaps you just don't want to worry about running out. You can clip this anywhere, so no matter where the end is, you can just go ahead and snip it. Unlike a traditional closed circuit, right, with anything that work on like a same sort of premise as a diode, is one-way electricity. So it doesn't matter. You can clip it absolutely anywhere, and you're all set. So here you go. So this, and a pair of pliers or wire strippers, electrical tape, wire nuts. Really all depends if you want to create a break in the wires. I didn't, and I'll explain to you how I did everything. So there you go. Next step will be the actual install process and routing. So here's the path, right? We've got the footwell lights that are obviously up underneath here. Okay, and that's where the black wire begins. But the way you want to do it is you want to think about where you want this to start, and then just run the black wire from down there, from beyond. So I started right here, which means down here below this, I just brought my steering wheel all the way down to give myself some room to work. And inside this leather boot, right, is where the wire goes down. See, there it is sticking out. And wires into the footwell lights. You can hear the box, the transformer box inside there, right? We just tuck this out of the way, and we have nothing to worry about. So it starts here, right? We just shove this in to the little opening in between the leather and the plastic, and we follow it all the way around, back to here, okay? From here, the next thing we do is we drop it back down into the same leather boot by going on the side of the steering wheel and into there. You can see it there, it goes in there, and the brightness is not enough where you even see this after the fact, so it's just kind of tucked out of the way. Now, how do we get it from here to here? Once we come down this way, it's all kind of coiled up in here, right? We bring it over, and very simply, you can see there is plenty of room to push some wire down this way. This needs to come out. It's not hard to do. I mean, one-handed, it's probably going to be next to impossible, but this pulls right up. Let me pause this video so I can get it with two hands. And part of the reason why I was struggling is because I don't remember how I did it the last time when I was grabbing between the cup holders, which obviously stay in there, and it's just this piece that comes up. So you can see whether you've got manual or automatic, right? It pops up nice and easy. So what we do is we come up from in there, okay? So you get some lost wire in there, which are things that we don't really account for in the calculations, which is why I tell you to get the longer one to be on the safe side. Right, so we come along from here, we go up underneath, and then very simply, you reach in underneath here and pull it up, right? So just pulling it all out from here, so you've got a lot of slack to work with. The trick here is how do you get it from A to B? And doesn't matter where it goes here, because this shifter boot's not really a problem, but it is an issue here. First time I did it, I tried coming up and going this way, going clockwise, and I ran into the problem I was telling you about where I had the bulb on the wrong side. So I ended up having to go this way. So I wrap around the coasters, pop out, and then wrap all the way around here. All you have to do is make sure you've got this tucked out of the way. And we're in, and we're good. Now it's just a matter of this. Getting it pushed in there. Nice and easy, all the way around. And at the very, very end, you're going to want to cut it. And as I mentioned to you, you can cut it anywhere you want. The trick that I did here to get it to look this way is I cut it on an angle. That way they don't butt up against each other, and as this comes out on an angle, this comes down on an angle, and when it's all placed back in there, you see it looks like it doesn't even end. All right, next and final step will be how do we actually get power to all this in the footwells. So if you see this right here, these are your footwell lights. And on the top side of this little cardboard felt covered thing here is a long plug. All right, that's the top side of this. And in the interior side over here, right, facing the gas pedal, right, gas pedal's this way, and there is a plug. If you hit the clip on that and pull it away from each other, right, it'll come right out. And it's very simple, right? It's just a small, very tiny wiring harness that has a couple of wires that go into it. And that what I chose to do was, rather than break those and have to reconnect them, I spread them apart and put a wire stripper in it and just stripped a section across. So using this as an example, what I did was, rather than clipping it and stripping back and then having this side, and the piece getting merged into the middle, what I did is I split these apart. So I had a gap between them and put a stripper on it and just stripped a section off. So I had a connected wire just missing the sheathing, and these wires were separated apart. I then just took what would have been this wire actually into the footwell lights and wrapped it around, right? So I went through, wrapped it around nice and tight, got a bunch of twists in there, right? Put the sheathing back as far as you need it to get it really around there, really, really tight. And then from there, right, just hold it flat and electrical tape it, right? And you'll know immediately if you got it backwards. Like if you don't really understand some of the fundamentals of power, of which one's hot and which one's not, you know, you're not worried about blowing anything up. You just touch them. If it lights up, you got it right. If it doesn't, flip-flop them And there you have it, right? The only thing you want to do is just make sure that you isolate one from the other. So get these apart, get the wire into it, wrap it around, tape it nice and good, do it again. And what I like to do is after I have each one individually taped, then I tape them back together. So there's no stress, there's no pulling. It just becomes one big unit. You can put, heat shrink stuff on it. There's a bunch of ways you can go about it. But the easiest way for me to not have three ends of beginning, end, and the new wire being added in is exactly that, right? Just remove the sheathing back here, about 1/4 of an inch or less, like 1/8 of an inch maybe you could probably do. Anything less than that, probably not enough room to work. But that should do the trick. And once you do that, then that is it. And you can do it on anywhere else in the car. So coming soon, I'm going to show you here. You can see nothing is done in here. I'm trying to figure out a good path for this now, but we're going to use the rubber, that rubber grommet pathway in as well. So we'll have the black wire going from the same footwell lights out through the door. I got to figure out where I want to pop it out of the door, maybe right over here somewhere, and then follow this around. I'm not really sure, so I got to plan that out, but we'll see from there where we're going to go. We're going to do both doors and just have a nice little pop of color during the day, as you see, and a nice little glow at night. So that'll be coming soon.